Hey, vibrant gardeners, welcome back to Grow with Vibrant Rainbow Gardens, podcast where busy families and beginner gardeners learn how to grow a vibrant organic garden with confidence right here in Texas. I'm so glad you're here today because this episode is one I look forward to making every single year. Today, we are talking about what to plant right now in April for Houston, for Dallas, and everywhere else in Texas. If you've been outside lately, you probably noticed that something has shifted. The cool mornings are getting shorter. The afternoons are warming up so fast. And if you still have any lettuce or cilantro in your garden, you might be watching it doing something a little strange. That is your garden telling you the season has changed. April is one of the most pivotal gardening months of the year in Texas. Not because it's the most exciting, although it really is, but because what you do this month sets the tone for everything that comes after. Okay, now if you listen to last month's episode and followed along with the planting recommendations, this might just be a refresher, a chance to look ahead and start thinking about your summer goals. But if you feel like you're way behind and haven't even started anything yet, this is your big push. Today, I want to walk you through what to plant right now, starting with the full Houston list and then a little bit of adjustments for the rest of Texas. I'll tell you what to stop growing, share a story from my own garden, and give you a simple plan to act on this weekend. Let's get into it. Before the plant list, one quick thing. April is a month of transition everywhere in Texas, but what that transition looks like depends on where you live. Your soil temps matter more than date on your calendar. Warm season crops need soil above 60 to 70 degrees to germinate and establish well. In Houston, we hit that way early, mid-March. The rest of Texas follows on its own timeline, and I'll give you the specifics after the main list. Right crop, right time, and right place. That's the whole framework. Everything else is just details. Okay, let's talk plants. If you live in Houston, Galveston, or anywhere in the Gulf Coast, April is fully your season. Your soil has been warm for a long time. Your frost is long behind you. And right now you have a beautiful window if you still haven't planted any warm season crops yet. These are the crops that will actually carry you to your summer garden. That's your main focus for this month. If you still have not planted any tomatoes, you can still, but I would suggest only cherry tomatoes like super sweet 100 or even sun gold. These are reliable producers even through our summers and great transplants in the ground. Do not start from seeds. You need very well established plants, not baby seedlings or even baby seeds. Peppers and jalapenos, even sweet bells, you have a longer window, so you can plant whatever your family loves to eat. Peppers genuinely thrive in Houston. They do not produce during the summer season, but produce well into the fall once they are actually established. Eggplant is one of the most underrated vegetables you can grow. Here, it's very heat tolerant, it's very productive, and stays stunning in the garden. If you've never grown it, this is your year, especially if you actually love to eat it though. Cucumbers, if you've not planted it yet, plant it as soon as possible, but give them something to climb. That'll reward you up until we have the peak of summer hits. You can also try some heat-loving cucumbers like Armenian cucumber or snake cucumber varieties. They love heat and humidity more than a regular English cucumber. Summer squash like zucchini and yellow squash can still be planted. They grow super fast, but they do take up a lot of space. If you crowd them too much, they will have a lot of powdery mildew issues. But be on the lookout for the vine borer. I've already seen sightings of the vine borer in the Houston area, so they are coming for your squash. For beans, bush beans and long beans, they're sometimes called yard-long beans or even asparagus beans. They handle our heat and humidity beautifully and keep producing all summer. Okra is a Gulf Coast hero. It loves our heat and loves our humidity too. It just keeps going. Direct seed in now into warm soil. For corn, if you've not planted it yet, plant it in blocks rather than rows for better pollination. Melons like watermelon, cantaloupe, and honeydew can be planted now. It's not early, it's right on schedule. One new plant I want to suggest is a tropical hibiscus that loves our heat and humidity and produces edible calyxes that you can harvest to make tea. If you've never grown it, try it this year. It's called Russell, or also called Jamaican hibiscus. Okay, I have to talk about herbs. Herbs might be my favorite thing to add to the garden in April. They establish super quickly. You can start using them in your kitchen almost immediately, and there is something deeply satisfying when you walk past your garden and brushing against your basil or mint and having that smell just hit you. That is what gardening is all about. Basil, you can either do seeds or transplant. They both will work beautifully. Plant more than you think you need because you will use every single bit of it. Oregano, it's a reliable perennial for our climate. It gets better as the heat arrives. Thyme is tough and dependable. Wonderful in the kitchen. Rosemary, transplant is so much more easier than seed. A good transplant establishes quickly and rewards you for years. And here's something I really don't want you to skip. Add flowers to your vegetable garden. Before you think, okay, I do not have room for flowers, I want vegetables. Hear me out. This was me 15 years ago. Flowers in a vegetable garden do so much more than look beautiful. They attract pollinators, bees, butterflies, all the good guys, which means your vegetables are much more productive. They will produce more fruit. They bring in beneficial insects that actually manage your pests. They bring you joy every single time you walk outside. Sunflowers. If you love sunflowers, direct seed now. They are fast growing and loved by pollinators. Zinnias are super heat tolerant, long blooming, and easy to grow from seed. Marigolds, especially French marigolds, are legendary near tomatoes. And peppers for repelling their pests. But keep an eye out, they do succumb to spider mites quite often in our humid summer. If you see them, remove that. Borage is something I add to my spring garden every single year. They attract beneficial insects. They are edible flowers and self seeds once established. Nasturtiums you can still plant in early April. They actually prefer cooler nights. So if you still haven't and if you still want to, get them in now. Vegetables, herbs, and flowers. That combination is what makes a garden that's both productive and genuinely joyful to be in. Okay, before we talk about the rest of Texas, I want to share something that's happening in my own garden. I'm telling you this because I think it's important for you to know that even someone who teaches gardening for a living does not have a perfect garden. Every April, without fail, I let my lettuce bolt. I forget to harvest and they bolt every single year. Here's how it always goes. The lettuces are still out there in early April. They look okay. Some are a little looser, especially if it's a romaine. And by the time I blink, it hits 85, 90 very quickly, and they shoot up a flower stalk, and that's it. They go bitter and the harvest is done. Yes, life gets busy, and I'm out there thinking about all the warm season crops that I'm excited about planting and forget about my lettuces. They just sit there and waiting. And then one morning I walk out and there's a huge center stalk and flowers are already forming. But that's okay. Because yes, it's a cycle of the plant. But bolting is not always bad. There's this nuance that actually matters. I let some of my plants bolt unintentionally, on purpose. I let my herbs plant go to seed. I don't pull it, I leave it. You know what happens? The flowers are absolutely covered in pollinators. Every bee, butterfly, and beneficial insect in the neighborhood will find these blooms. That activity moves through the whole garden. My tomatoes and peppers and squash all benefit. And once these flowers finish, I collect the seeds. I save them. I replant them and I give them to neighbors. It is a complete cycle. Letting your herbs bolt is not a mistake. It is an intentional strategy. So carry this into your April. Some plants, it is better to replace when they are bolting, but some plants, it might be beneficial to let them stay even when they are bolting. It's the same concept, same phenomenon that is happening. Plants at its end of its cycle going to seed, but the outcome is different depending upon what plant you're talking about. Okay, Houston list is done. Now let's talk about the rest of Texas quickly because the plants are exactly the same. The timing changes slightly. Austin, last frost was mid-March, so you're already in a warm season territory. Your window before your summer heat is very narrow compared to Houston, so get them all planted if you have not done yet. You can still plant your beans, okra, melons, corn, basil, and other herbs up until end of April. So get it started. You're just about 10 days behind Houston. That's a very small gap. It matters for heat sensitive crops like tomatoes. So if you've not done yet, move this week. Okay, Dallas, the last frost was also mid-March, But Dallas gets a little bit more sporadic winter-like conditions or cold fronts even through early April. But you can get your plants, especially the bigger transplants like tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants, immediately, because we are already past April 1st week, and even if the temperature drops, it's not going to freeze anymore. So get them transplants in the ground immediately. Squash and cucumbers can be direct seeded. Beans and okra, direct seeded. Melons you can plant this week, or you can even plant them week or two later. Dallas, the spring planting window opened late March. April's already here and you're just getting started. Do not wait. It's time to move. West Texas, we are talking about El Paso and other close by regions. They have a very different problem than South Texas. They have dry heat. They're very desert-like conditions, and they have big overnight swings, and moisture retention is your primary challenge, not humidity or fungal issues. So, but your timing is very similar to Dallas. Just plant all of these plants. You can add and make sure your raised beds or your containers or your in-ground beds are very well draining and has a lot of organic matter, which is very important in holding moisture in, and mulch heavily. And if you have not thought about yet, your irrigation plan is much more important than your planting plan. Set up your drip irrigation or whatever other irrigation plan you are planning, and mulch heavily before you transplant. Water management is the difference between a crop that thrives and the one that is stunted. Okay, if you're looking at all of this and thinking, okay, where do I even start now? I'm confused. I have a simple formula for you. It's the same one I shared last time as well, because it works every single time. A couple of vegetables, 1 or 2 herbs, and a couple of flowers. That's it. If you are in a very small space, or if you are just beginning, let's say a cherry tomato, long beans, basil, and zinnias. That's it. It's a productive, pollinator-friendly, joyful summer mini garden. And when that basil eventually bolts, let it. It's still working for you. So, start with 3 to 5. Not a crazy big 10 to 20 plants in your nursery cart. Your future self will thank you, especially if you're a beginner. Before you head out there, amend your soil before you plant. Compost, mulch if needed, raised beds if you're dealing with clay. Everything grows better when you start there. Start with soil. Okay, let me tell you what's actually happening in my garden right now. I think this is the part that makes everything we talked about feel real. Lettuce bolted again. I know I might have a little bit of a speckled variety still hanging on. I'm going to go harvest it right now. Broccoli, I did leave a couple of bolted broccoli just to attract some pollinators. That's gone. I harvested so much carrots last week. It felt so amazing. It's like clearing a table for a new meal. That bed space is now going to peppers and eggplants. Onions are at an interesting place right now. Some of them are bulbing beautifully, gorgeous. Few of them are starting to think about bolting. So I might actually pull them, especially the ones that are thinking of bolting, before they actually do it. Eggplants are going in. I'm super excited about these. I actually saved a couple of eggplants from last fall, so they are already starting to flower. And summer goats, they are already ready to transplant. They came in fast this year, which surprised me. They are actually going in this week. And one thing I wanted to tell you that actually made my whole week is I already started harvesting tomatoes already in April. That is an amazing win. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. All that work of starting seeds and transplanting them early and choosing the right varieties, it's paying off right now. Most people haven't even started planting, and I'm already harvesting. And a lot of flowers are putting on a show right now. The pollinators are going absolutely wild over there. And that's what the season is about. That is what we are planting toward. Okay, let's bring it all together. April is one of the most exciting months to be a gardener in Texas. The season is shifting, your garden is ready to grow. And wherever you're in Texas, you know what to plant, you know your timing, and you know what to let go of. The key now is to start. You don't have to do everything at once, you just have to start. And do not forget about your soil. See you all next time. Before you go, I have one small ask. It actually has nothing to do with algorithms or downloads. If this episode made you think of one person, a friend, a neighbor, a fellow parent, or someone who's always said, I want to grow a garden, I want to grow my own vegetables and fruits, I just don't know where to start, would you share this episode with them? This podcast grows almost entirely through word of mouth, and every share helps someone realize that gardening doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming. It can be gentle, it can fit real life, it can start right where they are. And if you're listening and wondering what kind of gardener you are, or what your next best step actually is, I created a free quiz to help with that. It's called the Growzona Quiz, and it helps you figure out your gardening style, your biggest challenges, and what will actually work for your season of life. Whether you're a total beginner or just need clarity, you can take it at vibrantrainbowgardens.com/quiz. And I will send you personalized guidance right after. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for helping this little garden of a podcast grow. I'll see you in the next episode.